Islamic nations, women are often deprived of basic human rights, such as driving a car, voting, or are even punished for exposing an ankle. In a world where women are often the guilty party to the crime of rape and must endure severe and inhumane punishment, aren't freedom and religion mutually exclusive?
Amani.
It's really interesting because I think that it's a byproduct of our own exceptionalism, the way that we choose to view other parts of the world and the issues that they're experiencing, and kind of absolving ourselves of our own issues, right? When I think about the way that people misrepresent the oppression of women in Muslim regions, it definitely heavily comes down to the way that they're represented, and the way that we choose to discuss them is as if those issues don't exist within our own societies as well. For example, one of the biggest things that's always cited is honor killings. Honor killings are rampant. If you turn on the news, any type of program about Muslim women, you would assume that this is just a problem pervading the entire region. But then when you look at countries like Australia and like the United States, the top killer of women is domestic violence. But we choose to refer to it as domestic violence. We choose to speak about it like it's a social issue, and of course, often really disregard it. But then when it happens in other countries, it's an honor killing. It's disgusting, it's backwards, it's inhumane, right? And really what I'm speaking to is that this is all symptomatic of patriarchy, which is a global phenomenon. It just emerges in different cultures, in different places in the world in different ways. So we really can't look to Muslim countries and say, these issues are impacting them and whatnot, because by doing that, by extension, we immediately look at them in an inferior lens. And by doing that, that's how we, in our countries, disempower Muslim women around the world even further. We speak about them like we know what's best for them. Yeah, we just had Pauline in the parliament wearing a burqa and really just hijacking an entire conversation about what that means. And it's really funny to me about how even in countries where we pride ourselves on individual liberties, on knowing what liberation means, what freedom means, we still get hung up on the way women choose to dress. Why is the conversation, why does it stop there?
I'm going to bring in Laurie here. What do you think about this?
About which aspect of this? About whether... look...
Well, I mean, the question was really about whether there's a serious discussion going on about what happens to Muslim women in countries like Saudi Arabia and the obvious inequities for them. And we just heard an argument about the burqa. I imagine a lot of women don't choose to wear the burqa, but have to.
Look, I agree with everything you've just said. And look, my experience as a feminist who is white is that I am often told the other side of this story, is that when I try to make an argument about domestic violence, an argument about the fact that 1 in 5 women in their lifetimes will be raped, I am immediately told, mostly by men, well, why are you talking about this nonsense when you should be talking about what's happening to Muslim women far away? So that we can only talk about sexism and misogyny and violence when it's being done in other countries far away. As it is.
No, but you made the argument earlier that you can talk about two things. You made the argument earlier that you can talk about two things at once. I mean, it's possible to have these discussions in our own country and also look at what's happening in other countries, isn't it?
Well, the missing word here is agency, is choice. Exactly like you said, there is the key issue with what a woman wears or how a woman chooses to present is whether or not she's forced to do so. We seem to think, obviously, if a woman is forced to wear anything, if anybody is forced to wear anything, like, have you been forced to wear a tie today? Because if somebody
No, my mother prefers it.
Well, okay. But look, if somebody was forcing you to wear that tie and saying, look, you cannot have any kind of job if you don't come out in that tie day by day, then that would be oppressive. But if you've just chosen, or maybe just to please your mother, put on a tie, that's different, isn't it? And yet somehow there's always debate over what a woman chooses to wear and how she chooses to look, when actually that's the decoy for a broader debate.
Sure.
As if women aren't actually capable of having agency in the first place.
Exactly. And I actually want to go back to your comment about the assumption that most women that wear burqas are forced to wear it. I mean, that again goes back to...
It's not the assumption that most women, but some women.
Of course some women do, right? But to create a blanket policy about a specific garment on that assumption that it is forced, of course, is another form of oppression. To go off of what you're saying.
I'm going to interrupt you because we've got a Twitter question that's just come in for you on this. The head covering was imposed by men on women. Why do you wear it? That's a Twitter question.
I mean, who imposed me to wear this headscarf? It's my personal choice. I chose to put this on my head. But again, you see, that's the way that we want to talk about Muslim women, right? As if they don't have an agency, as if they can't make their own decisions and speak on their own behalf. And it's pretty convenient that we want to believe that Muslim women are being forced to dress a certain way and whatnot, because people don't want to believe that we want to assert our own values and do something that actually defies what the West wants of us, right? If we want to talk about imposition and being forced to do something, I mean, what does that mean when all of society's pressure and questions that I receive about why I'm wearing a headscarf, that are kind of pushing me towards the fringes of, no, you should remove that scarf. That's the way that you show that you're agency.
I'm just going to say you make a good point, because in France, as soon as they tried to ban the headscarf, more women wanted to wear it.
Sure. I mean, so what I'm saying is, what is Western society demanding of me then, when they're trying to pressure me to remove my headscarf, if not to impose on me how I should dress? I just have one more point about France, right? And this is in the context of the burqa, right? If we want to say that it's wrong to impose any type of garment on a woman or dictate how she chooses to dress in public, when the bikini ban happened last summer on French beaches, pictures emerged from the south of France showing French police forcing Muslim women to undress, to take clothes off.
That's not liberation.
How is that any different than the moral police in Muslim countries that we want to judge for forcing a woman to put on a headscarf? It's literally flip sides to the same coin.
Good. Michael, you want to jump in?
Well, there's one other missing word, I think, and that's universal. And I think human rights are universal. And I don't disagree with what a lot of the panellists have said today, but I do disagree with one point, and that is that because we have frailties as a society, therefore we shouldn't be calling out human rights abuses abroad. The idea that because there's domestic violence in Australia, we shouldn't be calling out honour killings abroad. The idea that our society is so hopeless and frail that therefore it's cultural imperialism to tell other people how to live their lives. I don't believe in that. I think that there are a certain number of universal human rights. I'm not talking about telling women what they can wear and what they shouldn't wear. And we should be absolutely consistent. We should be clear-eyed on ourselves, but also on others. We should apply not a different lens to other societies, but no less of a lens to other societies than we apply to ourselves.
Okay, no,